Good afternoon, Dr. Ray. Hello, doctor. Hi, and welcome to the call today. Welcome back to Ingredients for a Better Life. How are you today, Dr. Nettles?
All right, Chef Jay, I'm doing great. Good to see you.
You as well. Another day on God's green earth. Luckily, we have this blessed advantage to do something great in our lives. So let's get right to it. Um, a lot of people, a lot of guys I talk to now, they say the hardest part of the program that you founded is the nutrition, the food and nutrition aspect. So one of the parts of the program that people sometimes, really struggle with that part because they weren't taught or whatever. So, especially in regard to the protein and HDL intake, they're not, meeting that criteria. So what they want to know is, what is the best way to get what you need for, healthy hair regrowth? So as the creator of the program, I thought who better to ask? So I thought, that we could run one of our Stop and Regrow type nutrition calls with you and find out how the hair doctor with hair eats on a daily basis. And then I'll type it on the screen so people can see, and then we'll go from there. We can talk about it. So let's talk about yesterday, first of all, because, what you do the night before sets up what you do that day. You can't be successful without a plan. So I know, doctor, that you are always set up with a plan. So let's talk about yesterday. What time did you get up yesterday morning?
All right, Jay. So very good. You're absolutely right that nutrition is very important to the hair growth. So if anyone who's watching the podcast or viewing, the first thing I recommend to anyone is first figure out where you are. What is your current biomolecular health? And the best way to do that is to get the biochemical report card, that lab work, where you can find out where you are, and then you can you can customize a program to someone understanding where they start from. So we'll just imagine, Jay, that I'm an average I can be myself, or I can be the average person. But either way, the goal, as you alluded to, with nutrition, there's really only three different types of food nutrients. There's protein, fat, and sugar. And with protein, you can only absorb so many grams per hour. So once you've maximized that amount, you've maximized the amount of calories that can come from that nutrient. So protein, for example, about 500 calories a day is
Yep.
the maximum
And
amount of calories that you can get from protein.
and just to interject real quickly, and that's absorbable protein. Not, not all proteins are the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about, my small intestine can only absorb maximum 10 grams per hour, 12, 14, 16 hours in a day. You do the math, 4 kilocalories per gram, you're going to get about 500 to 600 calories. So you couldn't live on 500 and 600 calories. So the goal in life is always managing the other two buckets, right? We've
So,
got to fill up on the good fat and
yep,
avoid the other one, sugar. So that's
yep.
what is always the thought process.
So it sounds to me like you're eating protein every 2 to 3 hours, essentially, and also you're taking in a good amount of those HDL fats we spoke of.
Uh-huh. So we'll go through a day, right? Most
Yep,
people with our nutrition calls, right, Jay? We start with, "Hey, what did you do yesterday?"
yep.
And most of the time, people look up and around the
Well,
room and they can't think about what they did yesterday. But a day starts with a good night. That's your preparation. I always hear you talking about prep, right? The prep
yep.
work.
And
If
we're
you don't
we're we're essentially talking about the bookend, right, at this moment. That wake up snack, the bookend, and the evening snack bookend. So that's very important. That's 60 grams that your body's missing per day. 60 times, you do the math, times 7. That sounds like lost opportunity to me.
Uh-huh. And the prep work starts that night before. So if you wake up in the morning and you haven't scheduled what you're eating for that day, you're going to be in a little bit of a pickle. So the
Yeah.
goal is always to think the night before, what am I going to start my day with? What am I going to end my day with? And what are my snacks? So,
Sure.
for example, I'm okay with hard boiled eggs. So once a week, I'll boil 6 to 8 of those, Jay. And I say to myself, okay, lazy doctor, if you wake up and you don't want to make anything else, I'm going to force you to eat those hard boiled
Yep.
eggs and start your day with protein.
So
So what do you think I started?
that's your bookend. That's your morning snack. That's before breakfast, right? To be clear.
Uh-huh. So
Okay.
you say, hey, doctor, what did you start your day with? Well, I started my day with those hard-boiled eggs, Jay,
Yep.
because I was a little lazy. So I said, how about hard-boiled eggs just to get started? And then I added in a little bit of beans with that. So beans and eggs is how I started my morning. And then we move into the next meal. So that would be your 6 a.m. And then you've got 9 a.m. coming up. And
Yep.
then you can try something like, how about beans and a little bit of rice? So soybeans is a good way to get the beans in, and then rice. You can get regular rice, or there's cereals with rice. So I have a rice cereal with a soybean type of milk substance, and then you move on to your lunch. That's a nice tuna fish sandwich. Okay, lunch around 12. So start your day at 6 with a bookend. 9 a.m. could be your breakfast. 12 would be your lunch.
Yep.
3 p.m. Nobody eats at 3 p.m., Jay. So 3 p.m. is for the nuts. And the
And what?
best snack would be
Let's
nut at 3
nuts.
p.m.
Yes, exactly. And unsalted if possible. Correct. So we have
Well,
to.
check your sodium level first, right? If you've
Yeah.
avoided sodium like you should, doctor, I don't mind that salt, Jay. But it's all about making
You.
sure first check your current health to figure out what you're allowed to have.
So also avocados play a big role. We're not talking about guacamole out at Chi-Chi's or whatever. We're talking about whole avocados, 1 to 2 per day, if you can, if you can manage it. It's ideal.
Absolutely. So 3 p.m. was the snack of nuts, 6 p.m. curry chicken with some rice, and then you've got a 9 p.m. And what can you have at 9 p.m.? That's when you can have another one of those snacks. You could have the nuts again. You could have soy milk. You could have a protein bar, and that's where you add the avocado in. So the avocado oil for me is at the end of the day. So avocados are to put you to sleep, and then any kind of fruits are going to be in the morning. And yesterday I didn't have any fruits, but I don't mind adding in one whole fruit, as you mentioned. But you want to eat one whole something, and eating whole foods is preferred.
Absolutely. And that's interesting that you hold off on the HDL for the evening to, for the, the sleep effect. Makes sense to keep with those sugary type things in the morning. So, real quick, do you check for sodium in the biochemical report card test?
Jay, very good. I have patients, the last week. Hey, doctor, what's that AST number? I said, hold on. I said, I thought you came to us for your hair, doctor. Now we happen to be looking at every molecule inside the bloodstream. And Jay, we're molecular medical professionals, and we understand how the molecules work inside the body. So we do look at that sodium level as well.
Good, very good. So, also, it kind of sounds to me like you're perhaps eating, more frequent, smaller meals, size of a fist, not these, large kind of fast in between missing meals and, with fluctuating blood sugar levels, and you get yourself into a starvation, type binge eating mode because you skipped meals, right? So we're talking about size of a fist, it's the size of your stomach, right? But more frequent. And they used to say like a king for breakfast, a prince for lunch, and a pauper for dinner. But actually, it's not. You're missing out on 2 meals. You're actually eating too much quantity at once, which again goes back to the small intestine. You can't absorb that protein. You might as well throw the money down the garbage can if you're not absorbing it.
You see, and that's right, Jay, because some of the stuff from the old ways of thinking things made sense and they were cute and clever and they're quotes that are easy to share with people. But now you have knowledge, right? So no more superstition. We have molecular chemistry that tells us how things work inside the human body. So as we talk about, we're very complex, but we're knowable today, right? We're somewhat knowable, and we understand every molecule inside the body. Some of the physicians understand how
Yep.
the molecules work inside the body. And now it's a less of a scary place. And when you're seeing a competent, confident physician that understands how the molecules work inside the body, we just look at the blood work to find out if things are going in the right direction or not. And as you've alluded to before, the people that come and start the program, their blood work has never looked any better. I had a 50-year-old gentleman call me today. Hey, Dr. Nettles, my primary care physician says my blood work looks like a 20-year-old. Are you
Yeah.
sure this is okay for us down here? I said, lucky, fortunately for you, we have clients on 6 continents. We have more data than any other physician or medical practice that's ever been here. So you're doing great. We took his hormones from the 300 and 400 levels up to about 1,000. So
Yep.
his numbers are all in the optimal ranges, and they're where a healthy person should be
Yep.
today.
And I find that there's two types of people in the world, right? There's the type of person that does research, that identifies problems, fixes them. There's other person is more, wants to ignore it and is more just doesn't want to deal with it, doesn't want to put the time in, doesn't want to put the work in. So, especially with a lot of these younger guys, they take a step back, especially within the current climate, the current way the current world is. And if you're not able to pivot, you're not able to soul search and find out like what are the things I want to be doing with my time, whether it's for monetary compensation or whether it's just for personal growth. So, but a lot of these guys, they are getting it. And the other half, well, that's what's those people are dying of whatever you want to call the COVIDs and everything like that, left and right. But luckily, we're not them, and neither are our clients. But I wanted to go in just real quickly because it could be its own topic episode. Is I call them the four nettles. I call them like the four nettles staples. I know you have your nettles essentials program. We could talk about another time, but that's on the website. But the nettles staples is 1 hour of learning a day, 1 hour of meditation, 1 hour of physical, and then there's a fourth one in there too. So, but I find that when people have done some soul searching and found out like what their purpose is on the planet, these things that we're talking about will, even the diet will become a natural type evolution where you need these things for power in order to survive, to do your plan. So for me, that's how it worked anyway. So, when you have these you know, this diet plan go in, it's like I couldn't succeed with this plan of, hour of learning, hour of meditation, hour of, for me, it's spearfishing. So it encompasses all of those things in one. But there's a
Uh-huh.
large percentage of the population that haven't gotten to this level yet. But a lot of our clients already have, which is why they're more progressive. And, precision medicine will prevail at some point, probably in our lifetime, but probably maybe not, hopefully. But so that's it. I wanted you to just kind of go into what you do every day with your hour learning, hour meditation, hour physical, and the other one that I may have missed.
Uh-huh. Well, you talked about it. So time is a gift that's given to us with free will. I tell people God doesn't even know what you're going to do with it. That's where the free will comes in. But the gift of time is given to all of us. They call them pearls. And what you choose to do with them, you could turn that pearl into something beautiful, or you could turn it into something that's not so beautiful. And that's what we choose to do. So if you set yourself up in a world with good habits, and habits are things you do every day,
Yeah.
you'll end up doing a bunch of good things every day. If you
Yep.
don't set yourself up with good habits, you have open time that could become bad habits. So
Good.
everything is about choices, and we've got to choose to get into those good habits. And you ask, hey, doctor, what do you do? Well, every day we all have about the same amount of time, Jay.
Yeah.
You decide what you do, right? You're going to eat for a couple hours down here. You're going to go to the bathroom for a couple of hours. You're going to have things to do with your friends and family. And then it's what you decide to choose to do. So 2 hours, you can learn something every single day. 2 hours you put into your body, make that thing better and nicer every day. Two
Yeah.
hours into your spirit, you wake up and read the Bible. You go to sleep and read the Bible. Who's going to scare you while you're down here if you're bookending your day with the Bible? So it's about choices and
Sure.
reminding yourself what you've chosen to do down here.
That's exactly it. I also, getting into the close of it is I wanted to tell people that if they want, they can follow us, our posting on social media and follow us there. And we're going to start going into more detailed things on the diet. On the Instagram, Stop Regrow, there's under the highlights protein shake where I couldn't survive without having that picture of isopure protein mixed with yogurt and other things like chia seeds for that good colon scrubbing, activity that is very
Uh-huh.
important for males, and 30s, 40s is to make sure those fiber counts. Don't eat any fruit or anything without a seed in it. If you're
Uh-huh.
gonna take a sugar intake, you better be damn sure you have a fiber intake on that, or you put
Uh-huh.
it out to the garbage.
Jay, you got tons of insightful things that I think viewers would want to come back each week for. I think that us showing up each week, if they have something to do, I would pop on here and listen to what you have to say because you got a lot of stuff that people want to hear about.
And if, as the questions come in, maybe we'll bring some of these guys on and talk about it. But yeah, there's a lot of people. I would say probably the majority of people, the majority of the population does not take one day out of their week for meal prep for the week. That's the problem. And they might not know how, but again, we can teach them that. I have a lot of people I work with that it's things that most people don't even have a digital kitchen scale to weigh their proteins.
Uh-huh.
How do you know how many grams of protein you're consuming is if you don't weigh them? I mean,
Uh-huh.
but that's what we're here for, is to teach and hopefully give them some more education so they're able to make better choices. And once they make better choices, their friends will make better choices. It'll hopefully spread, and then we'll have a nice, happy population that is kind to each other, and then isn't sick or in fear of being sick. Because also protein, as you say, every 2 and 3 hours, the building blocks of all living things. What does protein do for immunity? It's key for immunity. It's not about these on the market GNC, whatever it's popular, fashion item of the week. It's proteins and vitamin C, absorbable vitamin C, yeah, and sleep and plenty of water. That's what's going to keep you out of trouble, don't you think, doctor?
You're right, Jay. You touched on it. There's a lot of things, common sense, that we can do to improve our health outside of grabbing something off the shelf that's being marketed to people. They don't take care of themselves from the inside. And that's what our specialty is. Molecular medicine sounds complex and complicated. It's basically looking at you from the inside out. So we look at you from the inside with an x-ray machine, and we make sure the cells on the outside look good in the mirror that you see.
Now, how many individual tests are in that biochemical report card if you were to count them
Uh,
individually?
the individual markers that we get data sets for, probably over 100.
Okay. And that's everything from blood sugar, good, bad cholesterol, was prostate inflammation, the whole gamut. I mean, it's pretty much a, NASA spaceship breakdown about what's happening currently in your body the past 30, however old you are, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And there's no running from those numbers.
It's very
That's,
comprehensive, and it tells the story how nutrition uses the genes inside your body to create your individual biome. And
see,
you've never heard this story before, and you've never gotten blood work that can tell you this story before. There are over 4,000 molecules that you could look for inside your blood, but if you put a price tag of $100 on each one, you see how that's not possible. So the goal is really, the hard part was figuring out what are those 100 metrics, what are those 9 panels that tell you the best story. And that biochemical report card is $1,800 if
yeah.
you were to pay for it out of your pocket. And the rate that we have as a member rate, they say $1,400. I think it's $395, $495, something like
Well,
that.
you do it every
And
day. Yeah.
yeah, and that blood work is something you do once a year, and it really tells you a lot. And the blood work gives you the data. Then you need to interpret the data, evaluate the data, and then create a structured program to make all those numbers get better. And that's where the doctoring
Yeah.
group gets in, right? So you've got a very high tech, advanced laboratory company that can run and use X rays to tell you all the numbers, but then the numbers come back on a page and it really doesn't help you. That's when you need the physicians to actually
Yeah,
look at the data and understand how to evaluate what those numbers mean, and then have a conversation with the patient to educate them on what they can do to improve upon those numbers over
yeah.
time.
Well, I get my car diagnosed. I get my car fixed every year. It costs more than $395 to fix my car. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
in my whole, full circle of experience with being on the program and doing these interviews with you, like I have a very basic way, correct me if I'm wrong, of breaking it down. So, our mom and our dad, and their mom and their dad, and they gave us DNA passed down. Well, it's, some of it's good, some of it's bad. It's whatever, but we used to be operating in medicine on a cellular based level, but now with this precision molecular based level, we could take those, we'll say ingredients that they were born with, how those, whatever enzyme activity that's maybe causing too much DHT or affecting their hair loss, or maybe it's something else they're, predisposed, uh, um, predisposed to diabetes or high blood sugar or heart disease. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. The inheritance is now that with precision medicine, you're able to change how those things react with a simple prescription element coupled with an aggressive, protein HDL diet. And that's the core of the individualized Stop and Regrow program with the amazing topical. So that to me is what I found. It doesn't matter what you have. It matters you find out that cause, but you're able to change how that affects the problems. And oftentimes hair loss is the cosmetic indication of an unbalanced biochemistry. So you can get that biochemistry rebalanced, and then everyone with the topicals on to a nice cosmetic life, but also a longer living into their hundreds with more vitality, less heart disease, less diabetes, less prostate problems, because of it's a natural progression is what I'm saying. So to me, that is what Stop and Regrow stands for.
Well, you did a great job of summarizing that, Jay. And it could have been a little over my head. So one way to think about it is all the cells are composed of DNA on the inside. DNA is a molecule. Molecular physicians like myself study molecules. We've been studying the DNA molecule for a while, and the DNA molecule will speak to you. And what our research taught is the DNA molecule will listen to its environment. And
Yeah.
that's the difference right there, Jay. We discovered that not only does the DNA talk to you, it also listens to your environment. Your
Yep.
environment is termed your biome, biome, right? Biome, your biome. What I like to explain to people is, imagine the cells that you see on the outside are the cells that you see, but the ocean water is on the inside. So the ocean water has a bunch of molecules in there that turn into the
Yep.
cells. But if you can get the molecules organized from the inside, you can then improve all of the cells,
Yep.
not just the hair cells. And that was where our research really pivoted, where we learned that, hello, we weren't treating hair loss. We were treating the metabolic condition of the imbalanced biome inside your body that caused 2 and 3 and 4 conditions that were diseased that could be improved upon by taking, as you mentioned, a customized capsule based on your chemistry
Yep.
to improve your chemistry to then allow the cells to respond.
So yeah, it's key just to book that comprehensive assessment process online. They go to a local laboratory. It's very easy. LabCorp, right down. There's probably 30 LabCorps in every city, and go and get the test done. You read the results online. It's all very black and white. And then it's, finding out that cause and then going and fixing the diet and lifestyle. Oftentimes it's very difficult. A lot of people are, caught up in a busy, a modernized type, go and, work as hard as you can without taking care of yourself type of world, which ultimately, is going to cosmetically present with these things like hair loss, because they're not taking care of themselves. And we can talk about convenience based processed foods, delivery, all the stuff the oils, the soy. I mean, we'll talk about hormones and how nasty soy can be for someone that has a hormone imbalance. But what better way to check for your hormone imbalance than the biochemical report card? So on the the website and the Instagram and the bios, that just call a consultant, book the book your biochemical report card, talk to the doctor, and there's no obligation after that. If they don't have to continue after they do that, but at least stop and put your machine into the shop and have it looked at and see what you need to do to keep it running in the best order. It makes total sense to me to do this every 6 months to get these labs done.
Yeah, that's the opportunity today, is that we discovered or created a diagnostic blood test that can tell you what the hair loss cause is. And that's the key today, is we have a test that can diagnose the hair loss. It can tell you what caused it, what did not cause it. It can rule in causes. It can rule out causes. So a lot of times people come to us with a lot of previous diagnoses that we find to be incorrect once we run the blood work. So the blood
Yep.
work will help you discover the cause of the hair loss.
And it's $8 a day. It's $8, $9 a day on the high end, and that with delivery of the to your house, and that's in South Florida. But it's like that is less than lunch out at a decent restaurant.
Uh-huh. Yep.
So I think it's a matter of reprioritization of your life, sitting down what's important, how you want to spend this. Time is our most valuable commodity, and the two things you taught me, one was location, the other was environment. And it sounds, talking about the environment within the the DNA and everything like that is, so our job is to progress and then help pass the knowledge on to others so they progress and they'll pass the knowledge on. Hopefully we'll have a healthier world and a happier place to live in. So I find healthy people to be happier people, don't you, Doc?
Absolutely, Jay. You mentioned to it, the DNA will listen to the chemical environment through your nutrition, and it will also listen to, as you mentioned and alluded to, the mental state that you're in and the environment that you put yourself in. So with free will, you get to choose what state you're going to live in. You can live in the past with what did happen, where a lot of people live. You can live in the future where things may and may not happen, where a lot of people live. Or you can hold yourself in what's called present moment and be accountable for what you are, who you are, and what you're going to do.
Well, I can speak firsthand from about the 6, 7 week mark of my customized, personal capsule, and working a diet pretty, faithfully, was, increase in energy for one, less sleep. I wake up before the alarm. Two is, I think better brain function, happier, more libido, everything. Just I felt like Superman around that 6, 7 week marker after being on that customized capsule. So it all just starts firing on, kind of matrix, like the Matrix, all on one level. And it's a beautiful experience that I hope everyone gets to someday have that. Now with your office and your research and your program, they can have it by a simple phone call and making an appointment. So
Yeah,
um
you mentioned it, Jay. We had a last thing before I get off. I know you
yep.
got things to do here. We had a medical student that came into the office and, hey, doctor, I want to get started on the program. I got a little hair loss. And we started chatting about how he was doing with the medical school application process. He said, scored about 50% on that entrance exam. Doc, I don't think I'm getting in. I said, unfortunately, Tom, you're probably not going to get in with a 50% score. We looked at his blood work and found out he had a hormone axis imbalance. We rebalanced rebalanced his chemistry with that customized capsule. He decided to retake the entrance exam, and he scored 99.9%.
Now
He got a full
what
ride
was the
scholarship to medical school.
what was the time lapse between that time? Do you recall?
About 6 to 8 weeks, Jay.
Yeah,
So
I think that's the magic number. It really is. Um, if you're working the nutrition program at the same time.
yeah. So did we make him smarter? The answer is no. Did we, as you mentioned, did we allow the chemistry inside the Nile River to allow all the cells to fire at a more optimal range? The answer is yes. and he's been happy. I think this was a couple of years ago, so he's doing great.
All right, Doc. Well, thanks a lot for attending today's episode of Ingredients for a Better Life. And there's a lot of information for me to go through, edit, and get out to the masses, as well as working with people on their nutrition. And again, thank you for everything, both what you've done for me and others out there. And God bless you. And I look forward to speaking to you soon.
My pleasure. Thank you for doing what you're doing, and I appreciate you for keeping it up. Thank you,
All right,
Jay.
Doc. God bless you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye.